In the shadow of the Phoenix Mountains, visually impaired children play on the playground at the Foundation for Blind Children. The Foundation for Blind Children, also known as the FBC, is a resource center for visually impaired people of all ages. I sat down with Steve Pulowski, who is the Director of Communication and Development at the Foundation for Blind Children, and he told me how the FBC came to be.
So the origination story of FBC is really interesting. We were founded in 1952 by a group of parents who didn't want to send their 5, 6, 7-year-olds to the state institution down in Tucson. At the time, that was the only option if you had a visually impaired child. So they got together, they hired one teacher of the visually impaired, and 67 years later, here we are.
Steve then continued to talk about the mission statement of the FBC and their overall goal for the children.
At FBC, we believe vision loss is a diagnosis, not a disability. If you stop and think about what that really means, our goal is to teach our kids independence and self-sufficiency and confidence, so they can go out and do anything that their sighted peers do, anything that you and I can do. And we have events for them that prove that. You know, we have a group of kids who climbed to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, who swam Alcatraz. Just this past November, we had a group of kids circumnavigate the Spanish Virgin Islands. These kids had never been on a boat before, let alone sailed one. But they trained here at Lake Pleasant, and they worked hard, and they learned how to do it, and they sailed. They did all the work.
I was very surprised to learn that the FBC doesn't just help children, but adults also.
Although we are called the Foundation for Blind Children, our oldest client right now is 104 years old, if you can believe that. We have a low vision clinic here on site, and we work with kids to 104.
The FBC gets a lot of volunteers every year, but one major ASU Greek organization has helped them from day one.
So with Greek organizations, it's the Delta Gammas. They have been with us since day one. As I mentioned, we were founded in 1952. The Delta Gammas actually paid for that first teacher of the visually impaired. So it is the complete truth to say the DGs have been with us since day one.
I then talked to Kayla Kazmarki, who is the Vice President of Foundation for ASU's Delta Gamma chapter.
So basically what Delta Gamma does is every single week we go to Foundation for Blind Children every single Friday. So what they do is they basically just have like a parent-to-parent meeting, just telling parents on like what they to do to like help them with their children and everything, and then we'll just be with them. It's usually about like 4 to 5 hours, and then we do that every single week.
Kayla expressed her love for the organization.
My favorite thing about FBC is seeing when you actually see the parents see what we are doing. It's not good only just being with the kids in the moment, but actually seeing in the beginning what they'll do is they'll sit down, they'll read books, and you'll see the parents interact with the children, and then the parents will leave, and then they'll come back in after, and they'll see us with the children and everything, and it's just kind of like a really good feeling. And the parents have smiles on their faces, and you can tell that even though they're not saying like directly thank you to us or anything, like they really appreciate what we are doing.
The FBC continues to thrive and helps visually impaired people of all ages to become more independent and inspired to do anything that they dream of.